Buddhist teachings on karma, how it shapes your life. Welcome to Zen Buddhism Wisdom. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover one of the most profound truths of existence, karma. Have you ever felt like life is unfair, like no matter how much effort you put in, some invisible force holds you back, or perhaps you've seen others who seem to attract happiness and success effortlessly while some struggle endlessly? Is this just coincidence, or is there a deeper, unseen law at work? Buddhism teaches us that this force is karma, the universal law of cause and effect, shaping our lives in ways we often don't realize. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take, sends ripples across the universe, influencing your present and future. But here's the real question: are you simply a prisoner of your past karma, or do you have the power to change your destiny? Today, we'll dive deep into the wisdom of karma, not as a mystical force, but as a practical truth that governs your life. More importantly, we'll explore how you can take control of it, break free from negativity, and create a future filled with peace, happiness, and purpose. Are you ready to unlock this life-changing wisdom? Let's begin. Karma is one of the most misunderstood concepts in Buddhism. Many people believe it to be a cosmic justice system, an invisible force that hands out rewards and punishments based on past behavior. But this is a simplistic and misleading view. Karma is not about retribution. It is not a divine system that keeps track of your deeds and balances the scales accordingly. Instead, karma is the natural law of cause and effect, an intricate web of interdependent actions that shape not only our present but also our future. To truly grasp karma, we must strip away misconceptions and approach it with clarity. Imagine life as a vast garden. Every action, every word, and every thought is a seed that we plant in this garden. A seed, once planted, will inevitably grow into a plant that reflects its nature. If you plant a mango seed, you will get a mango tree, not an apple tree. If you sow poison ivy, you cannot expect to harvest roses. The same principle applies to karma. If you plant seeds of kindness, generosity, and wisdom, you will eventually reap a life filled with peace and joy. If you plant seeds of greed, hatred, and ignorance, your life will reflect those qualities in the form of suffering and struggle. However, the true depth of karma goes beyond mere actions. What truly matters is intention. Two people may perform the same outward action, but the karma they generate can be entirely different based on their inner motivation. Let's take an example from Buddhist teachings. There is a story about a great king who wanted to earn merit by giving alms to the poor. He ordered his servants to distribute food, gold, and clothes among those in need. Yet, deep in his heart, his primary motive was not compassion but self-glorification. He wished to be recognized as a generous ruler. His karma, therefore, was not as pure as it appeared. Contrast this with the story of Vesantara, a bodhisattva in Buddhist lore, who gave away everything he possessed, including his kingdom, his riches, and even his own children, purely out of selfless compassion. His karma was of an entirely different nature, because his giving came from a place of true selflessness, without any desire for recognition or reward. The Buddha himself taught that karma is not only about the physical act but about satana, intention. In the Kulakamavibhanga Sutta, the Buddha explains to a young Brahmin that it is not merely the act of doing good or bad that determines karma, but the underlying intention behind it. A kind act done with selfish motives creates very different karma from one done with a heart full of love and generosity. This distinction is critical because it shows that karma is not a rigid, predetermined fate but a living, flowing process that is shaped by our choices. Many people wrongly believe that karma is an unchangeable destiny, that they are forever trapped by past actions, but this is not the case. The Buddha himself, in one of his past lives as a bodhisattva, was once a cruel and arrogant man, yet through conscious effort and deep transformation, he changed his karma and set himself on the path to enlightenment. This shows that karma is not fixed, it is a road we continuously shape with our thoughts, words, and deeds. To take control of your karma, you must first become aware of your intentions. Are your actions driven by fear or love, by selfishness or selflessness, by ignorance or wisdom? Once you start making choices with awareness, you begin to shift the course of your life. The real power of karma is that it is not something external, it is something you create in every moment. You are not at the mercy of fate, you are the gardener of your own destiny, planting seeds with each decision you make. What you choose to cultivate today will shape the reality you experience tomorrow. So, the question is, what seeds are you planting right now? Karma is not a distant, abstract concept, it is something that plays out in your daily life, shaping your experiences, relationships, and even the way others perceive you, whether you are aware of it or not. Every thought, word, and action you take sends ripples through existence, ripples that will inevitably return to you in some form. The hidden threads of karma in everyday life. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to glide through life effortlessly, while others struggle at every turn? Some individuals, despite having no apparent advantage, attract kindness, opportunities, and success, while others, no matter how hard they try, seem to encounter constant difficulties. Many people attribute this to luck, but from a Buddhist perspective, these are manifestations of karma ripening. One of the most famous Buddhist stories about karma involves Angulimala, a ruthless bandit who had murdered hundreds of people. Despite his terrible past, he encountered the Buddha, who showed him a path to redemption through deep transformation and sincere practice. Angulimala purified his karma and eventually became an enlightened monk. His story teaches us that no matter how dark our past, karma is not fixed, it is something we can reshape through awareness and right action. Karma is like a river, but you hold the oar. Think of karma as a river. The currents are shaped by past actions, and they may be strong, but you are not helpless. You are the boatman. You can let the river carry you aimlessly, struggle against the tide, or learn to navigate skillfully toward a better future. The key is present action. What you do now matters more than what you have done before. Even if past actions have set powerful currents in motion, you can change direction with mindful choices. The Buddha often emphasized this in his teachings, urging his disciples not to be trapped by past karma but to actively shape their present and future. Every action sends out ripples. Imagine dropping a stone into a still lake. The ripples will spread outwards, touching everything in their path. The same happens with karma. A single act of kindness today, helping someone in need, offering a sincere compliment, or practicing patience, may return as unexpected help when you most need it. A single moment of anger, if left unchecked, can create tension that lingers for years, poisoning relationships and shaping your reality in negative ways. The way you speak to someone today may determine how they see you forever. Words have the power to heal or to harm, to build bridges or to burn them down. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha says, "Speak only when your words are more beautiful than silence." A word spoken in anger is like a poisoned arrow. it cannot be taken back. This is why being mindful of our speech, actions, and even our thoughts is so crucial. Every small moment contributes to the unfolding of our karma, shifting the question from why me to what now. Most people, when faced with difficulties, instinctively ask, why is this happening to me? They look for someone or something to blame, perhaps a person, society, or even fate, but the real question should be, what can I do now to change my future? The Buddha himself faced great hardships before attaining enlightenment. He was born a prince, yet he left behind a life of luxury to seek truth. He endured extreme suffering, nearly starving himself to death in his search for wisdom, but instead of asking, why am I suffering? He asked, what can I do to end suffering, not just for myself, but for all beings? This shift in perspective is the key to transforming karma. No matter what has happened in the past, you have the power to take control of your present and shape a better future. You are never truly trapped by past actions, only by unconscious choices. When you act with awareness, compassion, and wisdom, you start navigating your karma in a new direction toward greater peace and fulfillment. So, the real question is, what ripples are you sending into the universe today? Karma is not a fixed destiny but a living force that you can reshape with awareness and effort. No matter what you have done in the past, no matter how heavy the burdens you carry, you have the power to change your karma and transform your life. Buddhism teaches that karma is like clay, soft and malleable when wet, but once shaped and hardened, it can be difficult to change. However, with the right practice, even hardened clay can be reshaped, softened by the waters of wisdom and compassion. So, how do you transform your karma and create a brighter future? Practicing mindfulness is the first step. Imagine walking through a dark forest. Without light, you may keep stumbling over the same roots and rocks, falling into the same traps. But if you carry a lantern, you see where to step, and suddenly, the path becomes clear. This is what mindfulness does for your karma. It allows you to see your habitual patterns, the anger that flares up before you speak, the jealousy that poisons your heart, the impulsiveness that leads to regret. When you are mindful, you stop reacting blindly and start responding wisely. Buddha once taught, with our thoughts, we make the world. Speak or act with an impure mind, and trouble will follow. Speak or act with a pure mind, and happiness will follow like a shadow that never leaves. Every moment of mindfulness is a moment of freedom, freedom to choose kindness over anger, patience over frustration, wisdom over ignorance. It is in these small, conscious choices that karma begins to shift. Compassion is the second key to transforming karma. Like fire, it burns away negative karma and illuminates the path forward. When someone wrongs you, the instinct is to retaliate. But Buddhism teaches that revenge only creates more suffering. Instead, compassion and forgiveness stop the cycle of harm. Every time you choose understanding over resentment, you create good karma that will return to you in ways you may not expect. Buddha once said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. This principle is reflected in the story of King Ashoka, one of India's greatest emperors. In his early reign, he was a ruthless conqueror, responsible for countless deaths. But after witnessing the immense suffering caused by his actions, he turned to Buddhism. He devoted the rest of his life to spreading peace, building temples, and promoting Dharma. His transformation shows that even the darkest karma can be purified with genuine compassion. The more kindness you send into the world, the more goodness will return to you. Even a small act, a kind word, A warm smile, a moment of patience, creates ripples that can change lives, including your own. Right speech is another powerful way to transform karma. Words are like seeds, some blossom into flowers of peace, while others grow into thorns of suffering. A single harsh word can destroy a friendship, while a moment of kindness can heal years of pain. The Buddha taught that right speech is one of the most powerful ways to create good karma. Before speaking, ask yourself, will this bring peace or harm? Will this create understanding or division? Will I regret these words? Later, the Buddha compared words to arrows. Once they leave the bow, they cannot be taken back. A well-placed word can uplift, but a careless insult can leave a wound that never fully heals. There is a Zen story of a young boy who had a habit of speaking in anger. His father gave him a hammer and a bag of nails and told him, every time you lose your temper, hammer a nail into this wooden fence. At first, the boy hammered many nails, but over time, he learned to control his speech. One day, he proudly told his father, I no longer need to hammer nails. His father then asked him to pull out all the nails. As the boy did, his father pointed to the holes left in the wood. Even though the nails are gone, the scars remain. Be mindful of your words, because they can leave wounds that never fully heal. This story illustrates how speech shapes karma in ways we often overlook. Generosity is the final secret to transforming karma. Many people think of wealth as something you gain by holding on to what you have, but Buddhism teaches the opposite. True abundance comes from giving. The concept of dana, generosity, is central to Buddhist teachings. Whether you give money, time, wisdom, or kindness, the act of giving creates powerful good karma. The universe always returns what you give. When you hold on to things tightly, whether material possessions, knowledge, or even love, you create scarcity. But when you give freely, abundance flows back to you in unexpected ways. There is a story about Anathapindika, a wealthy merchant who became one of the Buddha's greatest patrons. He donated vast amounts of wealth to support Buddhist monks, but his generosity was never about gaining status. It came from pure kindness. In return, he found deep peace and happiness, proving that the greatest wealth is not in possessions but in a heart that gives freely. Every moment is a new opportunity to change your karma. With mindfulness, you break free from old patterns. With compassion, you purify negative karma. With right speech, you plant seeds of peace. With generosity, you attract abundance. Your past does not define you. Your present choices do. The path to a better future is always within your reach. The Buddha said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. So, what karma are you creating today? Karma is not a punishment nor a predetermined fate. It is a living force that shapes and reshapes itself based on our thoughts, words, and actions. The story of the poor man who sought answers from the Buddha is a profound example of how karma unfolds, but more importantly, how it can be transformed. In ancient Buddhist teachings, many stories illustrate this fundamental truth, showing that suffering is not random, nor is fortune purely a matter of luck. Take, for example, the story of Angulimala, a ruthless bandit who had taken countless lives. He was feared across the land, and many believed his fate was sealed. His karma had been stained beyond redemption. However, when he encountered the Buddha, something remarkable happened. Instead of condemning him, the Buddha simply said, I have stopped. Why haven't you? Angulimala was confused. He was the one chasing the Buddha, and yet the Buddha claimed to have stopped The Buddha then explained, "I have stopped harming all beings. But you, Angulimala, have not." These words struck the bandit like lightning, awakening a deep realization within him. In that moment, he put down his weapons, renounced his violent ways, and became a devoted monk. Through years of sincere practice, he purified his karma, proving that no matter how dark one's past may be, transformation is always possible. Similarly, the poor man in the story who approached the Buddha learned that his suffering was not a curse, but a consequence of his past choices. Yet the Buddha did not tell him to simply accept his fate. He gave him a way to change it. By choosing generosity, the man rewrote his own karma. This is the hidden power within each of us. At any moment, we can change the direction of our lives, just as a farmer who once neglected his fields can start nurturing them anew, just as a river that once flowed violently can be redirected toward peace. Our karma is always in motion, waiting to be shaped by our present actions. One of the most powerful teachings of Buddhism is that every moment is an opportunity to plant new seeds. If in the past we have sown seeds of anger, selfishness, or ignorance, we must now plant seeds of kindness, wisdom, and compassion. The poor man in the story did not suddenly become wealthy overnight. Nor did Angulimala's past crimes disappear, but both of them changed the trajectory of their lives by making different choices. This is why karma is not a prison, it is a lesson. It does not bind us, it teaches us. If we are suffering, karma is showing us where we must grow. If we are experiencing joy, karma is reminding us of the power of goodness. The Buddha once said, "Just as the dawn follows the darkest night, good karma follows those who cultivate goodness." Your past does not define you. What defines you is what you choose to do now. So the question is, what karma will you create today? Karma is not about punishment, it's about growth. It is not a force that binds you to suffering but a mirror reflecting the choices you make. Your past may have shaped where you are today, but it does not define who you must become. What truly matters is what you choose to do now, in this moment. Be mindful of your thoughts, words, and actions, for they are the seeds of your future. Choose kindness over anger, for kindness heals both yourself and others. Choose generosity over greed, for what you give to the world always finds its way back to you. Every decision, no matter how small, sets the course for the life ahead. So, take a moment and ask yourself, what kind of karma are you creating today? The power to transform your life is already in your hands. The path is yours to walk, choose it wisely. This is the end of the video. How do you feel about it? Leave a comment and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.